Hello, and welcome to another edition of Queen Astra's Tarot. Today, my friends, we are taking a look at what is Spirit begging you to see. And just to give a little preview, if you will, my friends, I was definitely getting very upbeat, almost, wanting to shake you by your shoulders vibes. Like, I want to give you something so good, dude. Just let me do it. So I feel like this is going to be generally a positive reading. So that is very, very exciting. Yeah, so let's hop into it. I've got 3 piles. Normally I do 4 piles, but for whatever reason, I was just kind of called to only do 3, and these 3 charms or, trinkets seem to fit the bill. So the pile descriptions, the timestamps will be below in the description box. I feel like I kind of repeated myself there, but you know what I'm saying. You can watch all of them. You can watch one of them. Maybe none of them speak to you, but let's get into it. Sorry, I'm just a little babbly. Spirit's excited to talk to you, y'all. All right, pile 1, we have this little piggy. He's silver, and his little legs move. Is he in focus? Yeah. Boop. Pile 2, we have this owl ring, and I believe this is goldstone behind it. And then pile 3, we have this little turtle, this little brooch. Brooch. A little pin for your lapel. Very, very cute. All right, so again, that's piles 1, 2, and 3. And I will see you all in your pile or piles. All right, bye, y'all. Hello, my friends. If you're here, you picked pile 1 for what is Spirit begging you to see. And I got a very fun vibe with this. And I say fun kind of hesitantly because initially the way I feel like Spirit's describing it, you might be like, that's not fun, but we'll get there, I promise. So I did pull some tarot for you along with a couple oracle cards. I pre-pulled, but I did not pre-look, so to speak. But yeah, let's get into it. We'll start, before we get into the tarot actually, we're going to start with the card you can see the most of, which is from the Empath Activation Oracle, and it is card number 1, Abundant Universe. And if you've been here before, I've used this deck before and that I'm obsessed with it, namely because the art is meant to almost act as like sigil magic and activate the energy within you by viewing it. It's gorgeous. So pile 1, I think off the bat, what Spirit is trying to tell you, especially with this little piggy, like the way it reminds me of the saying, oh, when pigs fly, like that's when that's going to happen. Or, and for those of you who aren't familiar with the saying, I don't know if it's an American euphemism or what have you. Anyway, the term when pigs fly usually means, oh, this thing will never happen, or it's going to happen the day that pigs fly, which, as we all know, pigs, or, as we know, cannot fly. But here, I think Spirit is begging you to see pile 1 that it's kind of like saying, yeah, pigs can fly. They can. Maybe you're just, the way you're kind of viewing flying is a little distorted. Because with Abundant Universe, it's really Spirit is trying to remind you, pile 1, that there is enough for everyone. And maybe even you're having detractors or people who you're in competition with, be that, for work or social hierarchies or something, people who are saying that you can't get or do what you want to do. And I think Spirit knows that that's kind of been bringing you down a little bit, pile 1. And they're here reminding you very strongly, in a very playful manner, like pigs can fly. Like, and no matter what anyone else says, yes, obviously the science says no, they can't. But Spirit's saying, have that mentality, like, yes, I can literally do anything or get anything or have anything because this is an abundant universe, right? All right, let's keep going, pile 1. I'm getting a good feeling. I just love this little piggy on this card too. Let me know if you do too. Actually, I'll tell you a little story really quickly. This piggy I got actually in Morocco like 12 years ago. Oh my gosh. And I bartered for it, and I'm a terrible bargainer, negotiator. And I just, maybe brought down the price a little bit and then bought it just because I didn't want to insult the merchant, and I really just wanted the little piggy. And the merchant, he felt so bad for me that he also like gave me another little trinket because he's like, pretty much like, this is a game and you you didn't play and you spent too much. But I think that's significant here too, pile one, and telling you, yeah, you can go for that risk. I'm not saying rip people off or, bargain people down to the lowest possible thing, but I think what it's, again, reminding you, pile one, Spirit saying, the abundance is there. You have the ability to get what you want. But let's take a look at the tarot to further dive into what Spirit is begging you to see, pile one. And definitely let me know if this is resonating with you. All right, and again, whoop, I knocked my light a little bit. I pre-pulled these, but I did not pre-look. So let's look together. Oh my gosh. Wow. Literally the magician with just everything that had been said. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm excited already. All right, you've got the Sun or the Knight of Swords in reverse. 5 of Wands. Okay, I'm seeing something. I'm seeing a picture. I'm seeing a picture. I'm seeing a story. The Mother or the Queen of Wands in reverse. And then, wow, the Ace of Pentacles. It's already pile one. With the Magician, it's just that really Spirit is strengthening that reminder that you have all the tools. It's really just, the axiom as above, so below. It's you bringing that, ego, and I don't want to say into check or control, because our egos are here for a reason, right? They're here to protect us. They're here to teach us how to move forward in our lives, right? But at the same time, I think especially with the Son of Swords in reverse, Spirit is saying that's not the end all be all, your willpower, or this sort of notion that you have to move fast, especially with the Sun or the Knight of Swords in reverse. The thing I love about this deck is the third eye is crying here, while the figure's vision is looking in a completely different direction. And I think this is Spirit's way of reminding you that, yes, obviously you want to take inspired action towards whatever goal or situation you're trying to manifest. I'm definitely getting more of maybe a career based endeavor that might be on your mind, pile one, just because of all the swords and the wands with like this, and especially Ace of Pentacles, this sort of bringing together this abundance to this plane. But I think, again, what Spirit's saying, we have right here the 5 of Wands, which is usually a card about conflict. And here, the way I'm seeing it, yes, you might have competitors in whatever realm this is, pile one, but more than anything, I think you're battling yourself a lot. Like there's a lot of, Spirit saying there might be a lot of quick action you're taking that doesn't have, exactly the end game in mind. Like, in the moment it might sound or feel like the right move to do, but then, in retrospect or after you've had time to reflect, you realize it was an action made out of fear or nervousness, or like if you didn't act now, you would lose it, sort of thing. So I think Spirit's kind of asking you to take a look at any inner conflict you might be having, because again, you do have this power, this resourcefulness, and 1, 11, master manifestor number, pile one. You got really, really strong energy, and unfortunately, the strength I think is also fighting against your ego or what have you. And I get it, been there, sometimes still am there. It can get in the way, is what I'm getting, pile one. And Spirit saying, hey, we got you. Like jump, you'll fly. To be clear, please don't jump off anything. You will not fly, but you know what I'm saying. Please do not harm yourself and jump off anything. Moving forward, we have the Mother of Wands or the Queen of Wands in reverse. And again, this is usually about like an exuberance, a passion, especially with, sort of, since it's the Queen, I think of more feminine energies. But again, love this, love this deck. The third eye here, it's calling out, it's reaching out, but the eyes are still closed, right? And her vision, I think, is interesting because it's like, I should be focusing this way, but she's looking straight ahead. And I think sometimes what Spirit is saying that is this passion you have, which is awesome and will get you where you want to be. But when it's enacted in a sort of impulsive manner, no matter, how much you're meditating or, doing, like, say you're manifesting, you're doing whatever method you're using, if you're still kind of looking in all these different directions and fighting yourself, it's not going to happen. And Spirit's saying, you know, we're here to help you, you know, relax a little bit and just let us take a little bit of the burden off of you. Because what an awesome card the Ace of Pentacles is, right? Like, who doesn't want to get that in their reading? It's a sign of abundance, especially in the material realm. But all the aces, to be clear, I feel like, to me, are just like, how could you possibly even be mad at getting an ace upright? It's a very positive element. So again, I think that's Spirit saying, like, while you might feel like you have to make these quick moves, or you might be like, oh, should I, say you're in social media, I don't know why I just got that, but you know, oh, should I post it at this time or that time? What time? And you're like looking at all these stats and all that jazz, which is good. You know, obviously you want to make informed decisions, but there's a point where you get into a sort of information overload to the point where you're like, I don't even know which way to look. Sorry, I just took a sip of water really quickly. Actually, I'm not going to apologize. I was thirsty. And I think that's something too. I think I usually don't take a sip during readings, but I was feeling very, very parched. And I feel like you've been kind of overworking yourself, Pile 1, to the point of, again, I think you do know that you have this innate power, but there's a lot of force, like impulsive force kind of happening on your end, and Spirit saying, you don't need to do that, baby. Like, we got you. But let's keep going, and let's keep going and keep going. All right, we got the Hierophant in reverse. Hierophant. Interesting, 2 major arcana, like kissing, so to speak. And then we got the 8 of Cups right under the Son of Swords. The 5 of Pentacles. Wow, 2. Okay. Wow, Pile 1. Okay. 5 of Swords also in reverse. A lot of 5s, which again, that's strife or inner conflict, which is necessary for growth. But again, I'm seeing so far is Spirit saying you've done the growing part, and now you're just kind of going back and forth because I'm not sure yet. Okay, Page of Cups in reverse. All right. This is very interesting, Pile 1. Because with the Hierophant, I usually see, especially with the Ram in this deck, definitely a more grounded sort of individual or energy, if you will. And I think what Spirit's saying is to kind of buck some sort of norms, because I don't want to be like, clearly the earthbound things you've been doing aren't working. But, you know, obviously there's been a stall or a standstill or a lack of progress where you feel like there should be progress. And especially with this 8 of Cups right here, which can kind of be like an escapism sort of card. I'm going to look up something really quickly in this book, Pile 1. But while I'm doing that really quickly, if you are already subscribing, that's awesome. Thank you so much. If you aren't already, please do. Or please like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the drill. It really helps the channel and helps me be able to do more of these. And I really, really do enjoy doing these and hope that they're able to bring you messages or some clarity to situations that, you know, maybe you haven't been able to find clarity to before. All right. Yes, but in reversal, it's all about like rebellion, reversal, unconventionality. So, and maybe to me, I don't think this is so much like saying buck like conventional or, you know, societal standards, which I mean, you can if you want. There's a lot of not awesome ones. But more than anything, I think it's saying kind of buck yourself out of this pattern or this sort of inner strife. And I think it's saying in order to do that, you might need to resort to tactics that maybe you haven't been using. So maybe that's like start journaling out your angry or anxious thoughts, or, you know, getting into meditation. Something that, again, because I'm getting this like very earthy vibe, that can like ground you, but bucks whatever kind of, I don't want to say rut or whatever pattern you're in right now, Pile 1. That's what Spirit's saying, or begging you to see, rather. I mean, tomato, tomato. I feel like anytime Spirit's reaching out to us, it's important, right? It's not like, oh, we just kind of want to tell you this because it didn't really matter. I'm just cracking myself up, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me on the internet. Yeah, but there's just sort of like fatigue, even like abandonment. And this is a cuttlefish. And they are I don't know, I just got I live fast, die young. Because that's kind of what they do, right? Like they're almost like Zero Dark 30, where they're like, I live to scavenge and dart around and withdraw in tiny spaces and kind of scavenge. And I think this is urging you to get rid of that impulse. Again, with this like quickness, whatever. I think you know what I mean when I say impulse. Like it might not exactly be like, oh, I'm an impulsive shopper or something that you would quote unquote qualify as impulsive, but maybe it's a habit or a mindset that you sometimes find yourself in almost, compulsively or without even thinking, especially since this is cups, which is all about emotions. I think it's really Spirit's begging you to kind of look at that. Yeah, especially you've got like a lot of water here because this is the Five of Pentacles, which again is that earth energy, but this bear, they're surrounded by water on a little iceberg. They feel like they're literally like left out in the cold. And what I think is so interesting about this particular Five of Pentacles is, and especially if you look at the rest of the deck, like look how large these animals are, and then look how small this bear is on this card. But we know that, bears are friggin' big. So I think this is, again, about like sort of shifting a perception, pile one, that Spirit wants you to do. Like, remember, like you are big. Like you might, from your vantage point, feel very small, but you are large. And I mean that in, like, you take up space in a good way that demands attention. And yeah, you know what I mean. You pick up what I'm putting down. Pile one. But especially, yeah, with the Five of Swords in reverse, which again, I think this is like about self-inflicted sort of issues. Like this, I believe it's a manta ray, has its stinger wrapped around a sword. And I don't think the sword expertly wove itself through this stingray's tail. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, I'm just like really funny right now, you guys. I think he did it and then was like, oh, what's happening? And again, I'm not saying that this is something you consciously did. God knows I do it all the time. But I think what Spirit is saying is to remember that you can literally just swim away from it and it won't cut you. So I think if you've kind of been in this like thought pattern that isn't serving you, pile one, again, especially since this is all in the water, it's saying you can be untethered from it because you're not technically tethered to it, and you can escape unscathed. If that makes sense. Yeah, especially with this. Okay, so Page of Cups in reverse up here with the Ace of Pentacles. Pages are all about learning, beginnings, abundance, magician, And again, the Page of Cups is a water card, and these are sardines, I believe. And what's interesting about this is they're almost swimming in an infinity pattern. And to me, I think that's Spirit's way of saying that on this plane, you might feel like up and down or separation, like especially emotionally. But in reality, it's all here. Like you have it all. And you can't have it all in this physical reality, but this mindset, and that maybe like, especially with all these little sardines following each other, which they're doing, again, for protection. That's why, these thought patterns sort of arise in us to begin with, right? We come up with coping mechanisms, some that are healthy and some that are not, because we've been in situations where we needed to do that. And right now, I think whatever sort of inner conflict you're battling, or, saying you can't do it, or saying you have to like kind of go with the flow, or like, don't you know what's going on in the world right now? Like, you can't do that. Like, think of everything that's happening. You can't do that right now. And I think Spirit's saying, well, yes, you can. And you need to be able to buck this sort of inner belief that you're separate from your desires. Like, you already have them. Pile one is what I'm getting. Like, the pig is already flying. The pig's already in the air. It's not like when. It's like, no, it's already happening. Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to close out. Probably, well, what the heck was this, Astro? I'm going to close out your reading, pile one, with what Spirit is begging to have you see with a card from the Celtic Oracle. I always like closing, or not always, rather, when I do use this deck, I like closing with it because each tree spirit has a message in the guidebook that is really beautiful, and I think is a lovely way to close a reading. Let me know if you agree. All right, I'm gonna pause this while my dog is barking. All right, I'm back. So you got 16, which is Elim, Silver, Fir, or Pine in reverse. It's very interesting. I feel like when I use this deck, this card does come up often, you know, either for myself or for anyone really I'm reading for. So it's something I've kind of started associated with is this is an eye, or it looks like an eye rather on this tree. And this also kind of looks like an eye to me. And I sort of imagine it as, you know, our physical eyes, right? What we can see with our eyeballs, and then a third eye. But if you look at this card, it almost looks like some of the third eye is a little bit obscured by some bark, or, you know, it doesn't have the full vantage point. So in reverse, I think, again, what Spirit's really telling you, or, you know, wants you to see, is that you're not going to see everything, which I know is so, I guess, not paradoxical, but like, no, it just doesn't make sense. That Spirit's saying, you know, you just need to see that you're not going to see. I'm trying to see if anything else, because I keep hearing that, like, Let me pull out the book now and see if it brings any further clarification, pile one. This is really interesting. I think it's Spirit's really emphasizing the fact that, again, while you might not be able to see what's happening for you, it's happening. And your sort of reliance on, you know, needing physical proof is hindering you in some capacity. Yeah, let's see what oops, I grabbed the wrong book. All right. 16, it's on a 7. Yeah, I think it's about like your inner journey, your inner strife, for lack of a better word. The totems that belong with this spirit are eagle and owl. The deity is the Great Mother in her many forms. The letter A, maybe a situation or your name begins with A, or somebody's this is about begins with the letter A. Yeah, and the keywords are like foresight, higher perspective, inner vision, the higher self, higher dimensions, unseen realm, clear vision, progress, insight. So, and especially since you got it in reverse, what Spirit's saying is you can't see the forest through the trees, right? And it's asking you to have that different vantage point, climb up a little higher, you know, align these sights. You know, look up towards the light, not down at the ground. Pigs can fly. Let me read the message really quickly for you, pile 2. Or I'm sorry, pile 2, pile 1. Maybe there's a message for you in pile 2. Stay tuned. Yeah, I'm getting a really fun energy from you. Like, I think you work really hard and want this to happen really badly, but I think you know how to joke with yourself too. I don't know why I just got that, but Spirit likes your sense of humor, so know that. Message: I am the stately silver fir or pine. See how I sit on a tall mountain and look out over beautiful valleys and hills? See how I grow towards the heavens and stand tall? I encourage you to take a look at your life from the top of my branches. See? Here you can see the past, yes, but you can also look ahead to the future. In the future, you see many choices. Which one attracts you? Imagine yourself having made that future choice. What are you doing? What do you love? Who are you with? Now look back at yourself at the top of the tree. Allow your future self to speak. What does it have to say to you? Allow the wisdom from your future self to dream you and reawaken you. Let your future self inform you as you make new choices and new resolutions, which in turn will move towards the future that pleases you. All right, pile 1, that concludes your reading for what Spirit is begging you to see. Please let me know in the comments if this resonated with you. Let me know your pile number 2. I'm always curious to see what piles people get. And I'm going to do my spiel again. If you can, like, comment, share, subscribe. It takes all of 2 seconds, and I cannot stress how much it helps. And it really just, like, every comment just makes me cheese like a little doofus. So thank you. And until then, I will see you next time, pile 1. Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye. Hello. If you are here, you picked pile 2 for what is Spirit begging you to see. And I will say pile 2 right off the bat, even before the cards, I was hearing, when I was like thinking pile 2, like I, do my thing. I kept hearing support, like you're supported. And then when I went to put the owl ring, again with the, I think it's gold stone. It might be, to be honest, it might be a synthetic stone, but I'm not sure. It's actually a gift from my maternal grandma. But initially I was trying to find a way to like prop it up so, you know, from a top-down view you could see the owl because he's so cute and intricate. And no matter what, it kept sliding off whatever surface I put it on. I even tried, you know, wadding up a cotton ball. Like there's a lot of effort piled too. And I think what Spirit is just trying to say is that you have support, even if you maybe don't feel like it, or maybe you've been outwardly rejecting it. Like this ring, I was like, just stand up. Like I was getting kind of aggravated. I'm like, okay, relax, my friend. It's a ring. And I apologized to the owl ring. But I think I think what Spirit's trying to tell you is not even just them, but like people or energies in the physical world are here to help and support you as well. And there's a sort of acceptance or openness to receptivity that needs to happen on your end so that support can literally come flooding in. And I feel like, because again, I cannot tell you how many times I was trying to make it work and this stubborn little guy just kept slipping and almost like it didn't want to be there. And I'm like, am I anthropomorphizing a ring? But I don't know, something about the energy, it felt very stubborn. And I think, especially with this owl, look at this. I mean, they're very wise and they're very, you know, resourceful, but there's still one little owl, right? And I think Spirit's telling you or reminding you, begging you to see that it's a-okay to receive support in any capacity, you know, whatever that means to you, whether it's, you know, going to professional therapy or counseling, or if that's, you know, relying on a friend for emotional support or what have you. It's there. And I think there's a sort of maybe pride that Spirit is saying needs to be shed to be able to accept that, because they want to give it to you. Trust me, I spent a long time. Like I normally wouldn't have spent that much time trying to get it to stand. I would have been like, oh, whatever. But I was very, very determined. I think that was Spirit also trying to communicate that they were very, very determined and still are. All right, pile two. We are going to start with your Empath Activation Oracle card, and yours is Lineage Healing. And if you have been here before, you know I love this deck. And the thing I love about it, I mean, I love a lot of things about it. But one particular thing I love about it is that the art is designed to act as an activator of these energies within the viewer. So, and I'll link it in the description because it's just such, I really love this deck. And I think you would too, because Lineage Healing, very interesting, especially with the whole ring story I just took y'all through. I think here what Spirit is saying is that maybe there were things in the past that made you, or, you know, that helped you form these patterns or habits because of a past trauma in your life. Or especially with lineage healing, you know, maybe it is something family specific for you, pile two, where either you felt like you let somebody down or they let you down to the point where you're like, well, I need to learn how to just kind of take care of stuff on my own because they're not going to help me. Like, I almost feel like you feel like this little line right here where it's like, like I'm so off court, like I'm so removed in a way, but I'm still so affected by this, is what I'm hearing, pile two. And Spirit's saying, yes, we hear you. And we want to help you. We want to support you. And we are literally trying to pull you back, but you won't let us, is what I'm hearing. And this card in particular is very much about, you know, with 8, I think of the infinity sign and lineage, past, present, future. They're all connected, right? So even if something happened in the past, you can still heal that past trauma, right? Like if you're a believer, I can't even talk. If you are a believer in, you know, being able to shape your own reality, and that, you know, time is a construct that we use to process information, but isn't, you know, reality objectively, then you know that you are able to heal these past wounds. And again, I don't think it's by force or anything like that. I think it's by accepting support. And Spirit's like, we want to give that to you, dude. Like, please let us give it to you. Like, open up so we can, like, show you off. So we can show you, like, what you have, pile 2. Okay, let's keep going. This one is a Celtic tree oracle, but I'm gonna save it for last because I like doing that. And I think it closes with like a nice message that way. Yeah, I pulled some tarot for you, pile 2. I pre-pulled, but I did not pre-look. So let's see together what Spirit is begging you to see. All right, we've got Justice. Big energy right now, big energy. Wow, interesting. Pile, you know what's so funny? Oh, hold on, you got the Hierophant in reverse. Pile 1 also had the Hierophant in reverse, and I accidentally called them pile 2, so I was like, oh, you guys might have, you know, a message in pile 2, so reversely, you guys might have one in pile 1 as well. Anyway, to keep going, the Father or the King of Cups. Move this actually here for now. The Four of Pentacles in reverse. And then the Father or the King of Pentacles. Yeah, it's very interesting, pile 1 or 2. See, oh my gosh, I did it again. Here with the Justice card, maybe you're a Libra, shout out, also a Libra. If not, that's still cool, I guess. But really, again, it's this balance, this sort of ability to let go. Because if you were, like, say, holding on to one of these, obviously it was going to tilt in one direction. You've got to hold it from the base. And right now I feel like Spirit's saying you are holding it from one end, and we need you to, again, shift this perspective so we can bring this balance, this justice into your life. Whatever that might mean to you, pile 2. Yeah, and again, it's also about karma and cause and effect. And it's saying, if you can see my face, I'm just like, see? Spirit is begging you to see that you can affect these things that happened in the past. And by that, I mean, you know, I don't think you can literally step into a time machine and, you know, Doctor Who it. But through certain practices, and especially with the Hierophant in reverse, it might be, you know, not necessarily something that's unconventional in a societal, like, bigger norm, but maybe unconventional to you. It's kind of how I usually take this card. Especially, I love that. He's like, this is more about you shifting that perspective and being comfortable with it. And it's not always easy to do. Especially with, I think, with here, you've got the Four of Pentacles in reverse here. And I usually view that as, especially when we're talking about like Spirit or what Spirit's trying to tell you, is kind of holding on to something in like the material realm, or like an idea in the material realm, in the 3D, what have you, that is keeping you from moving forward, like a sort of possessiveness of an idea or an identity or anger even, that is preventing forward movement. Because you've got 2 kings here. So very strong, like, energy in terms of being able to balance this emotional with the material realm, I'm seeing. And Spirit wants you to know, like, yeah, you definitely have this ability. And I'm not saying it's going to be super easy for you to get there, but what Spirit wants you to know is we want to support you through this and to help you bring this balance in. But for you to do that, we need you to kind of flip your perspective, pile 2. To be able to have this sort of grace. And at the same time, like, yeah, like discipline about grace, which I feel like, again, feels not paradoxical, but very, I wouldn't, you know, grace is a very soft idea, I feel, or a very feminine ideal. And whereas I think of determination or discipline as a more quote unquote masculine energy. But with the Justice, about balance, it's about bringing that balance. With the balance, it's about bringing that balance. You get what I'm saying, pile 2. And Spirit's saying, we're here to help you bridge that, but we can't do that until you let go of this thing. Yeah, definitely let me know if this resonates so far, pile 2. But let's keep going and see what Spirit's begging you to see with the Orion Animal Tarot. All right, we got the 8 of Wands. Yeah, so I think it's like as soon as... Okay, let me lay them all out first, and then we'll get into it. All right, the King of Cups in reverse. Interesting, 2 King of Cups. The 4 of Cups in reverse. The Emperor. A A lot of big energy, y'all. And wow, and the Hanged One. You got 3 major arcana, or no, I'm sorry. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 in your reading. So pile 2, I think even though, I believe this is a peregrine falcon, I'll look in the book, but they look kind of fearful because there's a bunch of arrows coming through them, or not through them, at them. The 8 of Wands, it's very, very fast movement. And I think what Spirit's saying here is like, it might be scary to let go of anger. I keep feeling like anger for some reason. Or like disappointment that's turned into apathy almost. It might feel dangerous to be out of this comfort zone. But as soon as you make that release, pile 2, yes, it might be scary, but at the same time, none of these arrows are actually hitting them, right? So there will be fast, like swift justice will happen as soon as you're able to let go of this sort of whatever habit or mindset you've been glued to, pile 2. I am going to grab really quickly the guidebook because I want to see what this says in reverse. Particularly since you got 2 and they're like kitty corner, King or Father of Cups. But yeah, pile 2, definitely let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you so far. I'm very intrigued because again, I'm getting like you are so supported. And Spirit definitely wants you to know that. Like I said before, it was like even before when I was just picking the charms, trinkets, what have you. Yeah, anxiety, manipulation, ruthlessness. In reverse, the King of Cups indicates you are still working towards complete mastery of your inner self. Emotional upset and drama may still shake you up, and you may find that your own emotions are hamstringing your ability to remain composed in the face of adversity. Strive for equilibrium. Oh my gosh. Don't repress yourself, but work hard to temper your emotions when you feel a tantrum on the rise. Right, so as I was saying earlier, I think Spirit's saying, you know, if you feel like you are stuck in this sort of energy that's leaving you like very, very on the outskirts of the orbit you want to be a part of, that you do need to look at any sort of habits or maybe triggers even and not repress them because, you know, trust, I've tried from personal experience. And, you know, anyone will tell you the more you try to push away a thought, it's like, don't think of an elephant. What's the first thing you think of? Freaking elephant. So it's saying instead of repressing them, you know, take time to acknowledge them, you know, whether that's through writing or recording a voice memo rant and then deleting it, or, you know, whatever way it is, just letting it get out instead of fester. Because I think what Spirit's trying, really, really wants you to see too, pile 2, with the Father of Cups here, but then the 4 of Cups in reversal right underneath it, there's sort of this, I think, pattern or tendency. I don't like the word tendency as much because I feel like it's like got a moral weight to it. And, you know, a lot of what we have are established patterns based on survival. And I don't want to judge anybody or any process, just to make that clear. But the 4 of Cups, I think, kind of tends to suggest that there's a pattern or a habit of ruminating, especially on emotional things, or like a shoulda, woulda, coulda sort of mentality. And Spirit really wants you to see that you have this ability to have the balance that you so desperately want. But again, the ability to let go of whatever, like if somebody wronged you, and again, it might be familiar with the lineage healing, whoever wronged you, it's, you know, you're not forgiving them for them, you're forgiving them for you. So you can let go and then literally just charge forward, because what a powerful energy, the Emperor. And I think elephants are like maybe one of the smartest animals in the world, like elephants, dolphins, and birds, or like crows specifically. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up. I know elephants are definitely one of them. And this elephant is just charging right ahead. And they have I believe this is the Anka. I believe that's what it is. But there's sort of a power in both the spiritual and the material planes with this Emperor. And I also think of Ganesha, who is like, or Ganesh, who is a god who would like remove obstacles. So I think Spirit's was saying like, we're here to like bust down these walls, like just let us do it. You know, it's almost like, I don't know why I just got this exact scenario, but like if you wanted to get your house remodeled for whatever reason, but you didn't know where to start, and then all of a sudden a contractor came in, literally showed you plans that were perfect for your house, and they were able to offer it to you in a price range that was awesome. And they're like, all right, we're ready. Just sign the paper and we'll get going. We can move forward. We can knock out that wall, make an open concept. And you're like, let me just look at this house and think about how much I don't like it for a little longer. And then Spirit's like, come on, bro, let me go. If that makes sense, pile 2. And again, yeah, with the Hanged One, with the Father of Pentacles, or the King of Pentacles, which again is this discipline, I think you are disciplined, or you are, in the sense that you have disciplined yourself into a pattern of maybe some sort of isolation, or not receiving support or wanting support, or a combination of both of them. And again, while it's awesome to be, self-reliant and independent and be able to fend for yourself, look at how this little Hanged Man is. They're holding on by, can you see their little foot? It's like a hair of the leaf that they're hanging on by. So while this is, being in that space, that headspace, being able to reflect is good, or to, be able to remove yourself when need be. Like, for some reason, I'm getting more hermit vibes than usual with this card, pile 2. And I think that's something you've done, is a little bit of isolation. And I think Spirit's saying we're here to support you. And especially, I just got this too. Like, if you had to, for whatever reason, retreat and, do some self-healing, or, not just go out as often, totally get it, been there. And Spirit's saying that's okay. But know that we're here, if you're nervous, like if you experience social anxiety or anything like that, Spirit's saying we're here to support you. We're here to, like, you can let go. You're going to, like this little bird, you're going to land right on my soft head that's covered in a nice, I'm not sure what they're called, but, a nice scarf for you to lay on. You're going to be safe. Is what I'm hearing, pile 2. Supported and safe. Let's close out your reading with the Celtic Oracle card. And you got the Lewis Rowan 2. Pulling the guidebook out, because this one, it's so interesting, because I've gone over each of these cards several times, and I just feel like I learned something new. Oh my gosh, literally it's about protection and astral travel, which is all about, like, again, going back to healing these past or even future wounds, which I know sounds kind of wild, but if you're having a hard time maybe forgiving people in your past, think about how holding on to it will affect future you, or if you have children or plan to have children or want to have children, how it'll affect them or the people around you if you're child free. Like, how will it affect your social, like, how will this karmic pain continue to play out? If that makes sense, pile 2. Let me read here from, dates for this, the Lewis Rowan are also November 29th to December 26th. The totems are a horse and a centaur, letter L. Maybe the letter L is important to you. And it's celebrated on the winter solstice. Keywords: protection, intuition, discrimination. I think discrimination, again, is like discriminating the perspective. Spiritual strength, ecstasy, astral travel, connection with the mystery, magic. Rowan offers you protection. Yeah, so this is, pile 2, I'm going to close you are so protected. Like, I just keep you, like, we support you. Like, you are so, so, so supported. Like, I cannot stress that enough. That Spirit really is, like, begging you to see that. But let's close pile 2 with a message from the Lewis Rowan to you. I am a tree that invites you to write, oh my gosh, that invites you to write down your dreams. This was what I was saying earlier. Listen to music, make art, play with collage, build something with your hands, or simply sit quietly and be in silence. So again, I think what Spirit's really begging you to see is, like, yes, we know, like, you've had some trials and tribulations. We're not denying that. But it's time to transmute that energy. And I said writing, but there might be another way too, like another creative way or another outlet for you to transmute this energy and be able to move forward. Winter is a beautiful time of year, and the extra hours of darkness allow you to enter your internal world where riches await your discovery. Feed your heart with love. Imagine a purple flame there that increases with every breath of love you offer it. Let this loving fire expand and warm every part of you. Let it sweep away your fears and limitations. Let it rekindle the heat of your imagination. You are indeed a genie. You have access to everything you need. Right? It's like, it's all here. You're connected to it. You just gotta allow yourself to be, I keep being like a magnet or like sucked. I don't know. Very fast. Again, like a very swift, like as soon as you're able to let go or to find a coping mechanism or therapeutic practice that allows you to, because it's not like you can just like be like, oh, it's all gone now, I'm done, healed from trauma forever, right? Because that's not, healing isn't linear. But you know, if you come up with a practice, I think it's definitely, things are going to start falling into place a lot faster for you. Pile 2 is what Spirit definitely wants you to see. Imagine that you are complete and perfect and allow this realization to nourish you. Get on your magic horse and fly above the clouds. Travel where you will. Gather what you need. Enjoy what I offer you, as it is your birthright to feel joy and happiness. Embrace your creativity, inspiration, joy, and enthusiasm. Spread the good news. I ask you to feel safe as I offer you protection. I strengthen your ability to discriminate and assess situations and people. I strengthen your intuition. I help you choose a path of health, joy, and vibrancy. Allow the Great Mother to love you and support you. Oh my gosh. Allow the nutrients, care, and nourishment to flow into every cell of your body. Allow this love to penetrate every situation. Dang. I'm going to close it there, Pile 2. I hope that this reading brought some clarity or some much needed comfort to you. You are so supported. Definitely maybe check out Pile 1 if you are interested. Thank you so much for being here. You know the drill. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I definitely like hearing what pile you got and how you thought of the reading, what you thought of the reading. And I genuinely appreciate the energy exchange. So until then, my friends, I will see you next time. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, evening, whatever time it is near you. All right. Bye. Bye. Hello. If you're here, you picked pile 3 for what is Spirit begging you to see. And you picked the pile with this cute little turtle. It's a little pin for like lapel. I actually got it from, this was a gift from my paternal grandmother. And actually pile 2, the ring was a gift from my maternal grandmother. It's just a little turtle, little green. So I feel like this is definitely going to be about your heart chakra, pile 3, especially with the, well, let's just jump right into it, shall we? Let's get in the water, literally, because I feel like the empath activation card, and I didn't even pick, to be clear, I didn't pick it because I'm like, oh, that looks cute together. I, was asking Spirit and this came out, and I think Spirit wants you to know that they are with you through murky waters, if that makes sense. And doing this beingness, I love this card. Let me actually hold up this card for you so you can see pile 3. Because if you've been here before, which awesome, thank you for returning, you know that these cards, this deck I love, which I'll put in the description, is awesome because the art is almost like a sigil magic or chaos magic in the sense that it's designed to activate this energy within you. And with this, again, I'm getting like very watery, very emotional depths, but it's very beautiful. So I feel like this is going to sound strange, but I feel like Spirit is begging you to see like in the sense like a beauty in like some sort of gloom. And that isn't to say like spiritually bypass and be like, oh, la, everything's fine if, you're really in the thick of it, so to speak. But I think what Spirit is kind of asking you to do is, with this doing this beingness card especially, we are so trained to be productive, right? Or to be utilizing our time. It's always a sort of masculine energy about time in terms of investing it or spending it or we're wasting it. Like, why can't we just be in it? Damn, that was deep, me. Actually, that was Spirit. But that's what they're trying to tell you, pile 3. Like, they know that you want to be good, and they know you're working really hard trying to navigate whatever it is going on in your life, or especially if it's emotionally, trying to figure out, how to navigate this, especially with this turtle. I get a sort of gentleness with them. Like, even though, like, some turtles can be mean and snap at you, with this little guy, like, I feel like there's a newness about you, pile 3. I don't know how to describe it. Like a little baby turtle. And I mean, like, that in the best way possible, where there's Spirit is begging you to see this sort of like ability to see things through a childlike perspective, almost like we're, you know, an untainted canvas, if you will. Yeah, and I think Spirit really wants you to delve into this beingness, which is more, again, the wild feminine force, and allow things to sort of percolate, for lack of a better word, or gestate is a word. Yeah, I'm looking at the guidebook for this, just because I feel like I don't know how to describe it, Pile 3. Like, I feel like definitely getting some either psychic or, you know, intuitive vibes from you for sure. And I feel like maybe sometimes it can be hard for you to separate what's you and what's other people energetically. And you've been kind of searching with this doing of trying to figure out how to separate yourself, you know, maybe it's a boundary thing, how to separate yourself from others, or how to separate your notion of self compared to others. And like, yes, at the end of the day, we're all connected, we're all one, but you know, we've incarnated separately, quote unquote, or in these individual souls for a reason, right? So we can experience life in these ways. And I think what Spirit is begging you to see is that you don't need to be in water. You don't need to always be swimming, right? You can float, you can be. And I think, you know, sometimes it can be uncomfortable, especially if it's murky waters or waters we're not comfortable with, to sit in it. But I think Spirit is begging you to see that, you know, if you keep swimming around, you're going to keep kicking up dust and the water's always going to be murky. You need to sit for a second. You need to sit and be in the water, be in these emotions, whatever they are, and allow them to, again, I'm getting like, you know, if a turtle were swimming really, really, really fast, they'd be kicking up all the sand and it'd be murky. And I think Spirit's saying, you know, if you're still, the clarity is going to come. I'm going to read you an incantation from, or one verse of an incantation from the guidebook, because it's a really, really long one. But just to give you an example of what Spirit is trying to really, really get you to see, Pile 3. You are a powerful manifesting force, but you've gotten the cart before the horse. Beloved one, you are a human being. You are exhausted and spent from endless wearying. Your culture values production, results, winning, accumulating at all earthly costs. You are not intentionally carrying the message passed on from your forebears as unwitting baggage. Nonetheless, it is time to reckon the effects, make crucial choices, what to keep and reject. Right? You can't really do that if you're juggling everything. Like, you need to set everything down and look at it and be like, what do I want? What don't I want? And I think Spirit is really encouraging you to do that. And they're here to remind you that you'll be safe during it too. Like, there'll be almost like and again, I don't want to romanticize, you know, depression or anything. Like, if you are seriously feeling not yourself or dissociating, like, please, you know, obviously seek mental help. But I think if there's a pain you've been avoiding, Pile 3, or it doesn't even have to be pain, any emotion, like maybe you're really, really uncomfortable with the idea that somebody loves you for who you are, or, you know, whatever it is, I think Spirit is really begging you to see, or just to be, not even to see anything. They're just like, hey, sit still for a second. Just sit, and things are going to come to you. But let's take a look at the tarot that I pre-pull these, but I don't pre-look at them. But let's see what Spirit is begging you to see, Pile 3. Oh my gosh, the sun. Wow. Oh, I love these colors together too. Yeah, there's such a newness about you, Pile 3. I really don't know how to describe it. The 3 of Cups in reverse. The 9 of Wands also in reverse. Let me actually move these down a little bit. And these almost like connect. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but oh my God, I got another turtle in the full. I'm just, if I had another hand, I'd be patting myself on the back right now, y'all. I shouldn't know because it's Spirit, but look at that. What was I saying earlier? Like this, like new baby, fresh eyes. Holy smokes, y'all. This is a beautiful read. The other two were as well, but something oh my gosh, and Death in reverse with the axolotls. Or I grew up calling them mud puppies. I had one in 5th grade, or in our 5th grade class, and his name was Copernicus, after Nicholas Copernicus. Anyway, sidebar done. What Spirit really wants you to be able to see, Pile 3, is that, again, really releasing with this Death in reverse, releasing some sort of, I don't even think it's like strife, but just this inability to stop moving for some reason is what I'm getting. Like, you're always always on the go or always trying to get something accomplished, which again is awesome. Don't want to, negate the hard work you've been doing to get where you are. But at the same time, pile 3, Spirit's kind of saying like, you don't need to run yourself ragged, because just being like this little guy, I believe this is a hedgehog, or not a hedgehog, I'm sorry, a groundhog. But all they have to do is look up and there's the sun, and oh my God, doesn't it feel awesome? And with the 3 of Cups in reverse, these little guys, I'm actually going to look at the guidebook just because usually I think of the 3 of Cups upright as like friendship, celebration. And in reverse, I'm trying to, in terms of what Spirit's wanting you to see in emotions. Well, I'm just like flipping through this book. If y'all want to like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. Cancellation, gossip, isolation. Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, with this isolation, like maybe you've been putting off seeing people because you have been like, almost like telling yourself like, oh, I want to get this straightened out in my head and then I can, go back to being me. But you're always you, right? Like life doesn't pause. It's always going. And I think that's hard to see when you aren't sitting still and aren't making time to, nurture connections. And then the 9 of Wands in reverse, this is a horse. In the 9 of Wands, I usually think of, after a hard, uphill, passionate battle, like finally being in the clear, right? Like finally having this sort of, ooh, I'm tired, but thank God it's over, but we did it sort of thing. But in reverse, especially with a horse, I think of, I don't know, I'm being told this, like, it's like don't stand behind a horse because they'll kick you in the gut. Because defensive, paranoid, exhaustion. I feel like there is an exhaustion that's come from this back and forth movement, and which again has been like this passion, this fire. And don't get me wrong, it's good to have a fire in your butt every once in a while, but Spirit is begging you to just to let yourself just look at, especially both of them, they're just like vibing. And I mean that not in like a, oh, I'm just associating, cool, chill, but they're just like basking in the glow of now. And Spirit really wants you to be able to do that, but you need to sit still, pile 3 is what I'm hearing. But let's keep going. Let me know if this resonates with you so far in the comments. We got the 2 of Wands under the sun. The Lovers, ooh la la, under the 3 of Cups. The World, wow, under the 9 of Wands in reverse. The 5 of Pentacles in reverse under the Fool. And, oh, interesting, the High Priestess right under Death reverse. Wow, how many? 6 major arcana. Pile 3. Yeah, Spirit is so here for you. Like Spirit's here for everybody, but especially like they want you to know how powerful you are. They want you to know how you are making progress. Like even if you don't feel like it, like Spirit is begging you to see like. And maybe this is something you already acknowledge, like, yeah, I know I tend to like keep myself busy because I'd rather do that than sit with my thoughts, or, I turn to, or I imbibe in certain things to kind of disconnect when I'm alone, because then, if I'm alone, then the thoughts start happening. But you're making progress. Like you are like starting to slow down a little bit, and Spirit wants to acknowledge that, like, yes, we've seen you're making progress. We're not like, you need to do this. They're not wagging their finger at you, to be clear. Like they know you had a choice. And like the Lovers, I think, and maybe this was something to do with a person, just because it is, or, not a person, or a relationship rather, just because there is a lot of watery energy here. Even in this Death card, axolotls, they're amphibians, and they, either this one's flying or they're kissing each other in the water. I don't know why, either they're flying or they're kissing each other in the water. I don't know why that just cracked me up. But I think really interestingly, like this Death card and the Lovers, you have a choice to, like, maybe you chose to isolate, maybe you chose to kind of, or even, go into these depths and figure out what's going on. And I think Spirit's acknowledging, like, don't be mad at yourself for all this back and forth you've been doing. Like, don't be like, oh my God, I've wasted all this time, because no, you needed to do that. You needed to swim around for a little bit and, maybe find yourself in a corner, back out. So Spirit, again, is really validating what you've been doing so far. So I just really want to make that clear, and they want to make that clear too. what's interesting with this Five of Pentacles in reverse, with the Fool, I think what Spirit is saying, they're like, we understand why you're running around. We understand why you thrive off of being busy or being, you know, always on the go or what have you, because, you know, for what you have been left out in the cold previously. You have, you know, gotten the shaft, for lack of a better word, or like somebody boxed you in or out. And they understand that, but again, they're like, we know it's hard, but we're asking you to shed this perception, to shed this burden, this ache. And again, it's not to say that, just stop thinking about that time that person hurt you and now you're fine. Spirit knows it's not that easy. And again, I keep hearing like they really want to applaud your efforts and like say like you have been making progress. Like don't feel like if you've been working on yourself for a long time or working through whatever issue this is, Spirit's like it hasn't been wasted. Like please don't think that. And I'm feeling the way I'm reading this High Priestess in reverse with the Death in reverse, it's almost like these two flip together. So as soon as you're able to shed that skin, you enter High Priestess mode, which who doesn't want to be in High Priestess mode? It's a, you know, super feminine energy. Literally just, I think of her as like, I want it, I got it. And not even in a sort of, you know, bratty way or anything, just in a, I know I can get what I want. Like, there's just such a power in this figure's stance. Like, she's not like crossing her arms like she's angry. Like, they just happen to be crossed over her lap, if that makes sense. And everything's in balance. Yeah, Spirit is really rooting for you. Like, they know, again, I keep saying it over and over, they know you've been working hard and they just really, really, really want to stress that. Pile 3. But let's close your reading with the Celtic Tree Oracle card I pulled for y'all. And you got the, all right, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this. Uliand, I do not speak Gaelic. Honeysuckle, Celtic. I do not know Irish languages. I will, if anybody knows how to pronounce this, please let me know in the comments. But 23, I don't know why. Maybe you're a sports fan. I automatically was like, Jordan. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination like a sport person. But he was like, I do know about him because I grew up in Chicago in his heyday. You know, I always think of there was one NBA finals where he was playing with like really, really high fever, which, you know, nobody push your body to that extreme. I think if anything is saying like, don't do that. And I think, again, we champion that sort of, that grit, that push through, that ability to keep moving. And I think Spirit's saying, I understand why you think that is beautiful, but we need you to let that go so you can let in this new, beautiful, fragrant sort of energy. Yeah, it's interesting. The deities associated with this spirit are Merlin, the crone or the hermit, the medicine man or woman. And letters associated are UI, PE, or P. So maybe that means something to you, pile 3. Yeah, it's all about like hidden secrets and like bringing light into the darkness. And again, if you're swishing around the water, if you're swishing around in your emotions, you got to let things settle. And, you know, that could be any sort of transmutation, you know, writing about it or venting or, you know, seeking out counseling or whatever that means to you, pile 3. Let me close this out for you with the message from your Celtic Tree Spirit Oracle. I offer you the lovely scent of my flowers. I attract beauty and offer sweet nectar for the hummingbirds and the bees. I am here to remind you of your own sweetness and your own ability to attract good things into your life, right? Like you don't have to constantly be moving, you can just attract it. You attract beauty when you choose beautiful thoughts, feelings, actions, and activities. You are growing new things. Allow yourself to develop naturally. Cultivate your inner garden with seeds of love and intention. Follow the spiraling pattern that I create as I grow and know that this is how you grow too. Right? So maybe you felt like you were spiraling a little bit. And this is, again, I feel like this is Spirit being like, yeah, it's okay if you felt like, you know, you were really in and you're like, wow, I'm really kind of losing it a little bit. Like, it was part of the process. It's super okay and it's good and you are right on track. pile 3. I cannot stress it enough. They want me to say more, but I'm like, y'all, they know. You are growing new things. Allow yourself to develop naturally. Cultivate your inner garden. We did that. What is hidden can be found. Pay attention to synchronicities and dreams. These are your allies in discovering your own inner knowing and true essence. At the center of your heart lies desire and dreams and aspirations. Great treasure is available within you. Bring these inner resources to the light so they can be shared. Bring them forward for activation. They hold the secret to your soul's purpose and your spiritual journey. All right, pile 3. Well, I hope that brought some clarity or insight to you. In case you didn't hear it the other billion times, Spirit is so proud of you and the progress you've made. Even if you feel like whatever this is for you, you know, whether it's your spiritual journey or, you know, something you're trying to balance emotionally, you feel like maybe it's taken longer. Spirit wants you to know that you are on the right path and we are here to support you. You just have to be still for a little bit. You know, we can't find you. I don't know, I just got like the idea of like, if you were on a deserted island that was like, I don't know, for some reason, 100 feet wide and 1,000 miles long. If you kept running up and down it, like people wouldn't be able to find you. That was a terrible example, but you have to stay still to be found. Just for a little bit. You can do it. All right, that concludes your reading, pile 3. Definitely let me know how it resonated with you in the comments. I love hearing, and I love knowing how it connected with you. And I really just love doing these readings, so any sort of digital interaction is greatly appreciated because it helps the algo and helps me keep doing these. So again, pile 3, you're doing awesome. Spirit loves you. And until next time, I will see you next time. All right, bye.